Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Terrifying Tuesday on this channel where we talk about all things horror. There's not a lot of news to talk about, although we will address the new rumor about the release of a brand new Child's Play movie. And then we're going to dive into 5 Child's Play-like movies that you could be watching while we wait for the next Child's Play movie. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so Devon Sawa actually said at a Comic-Con event, apparently, that there is going to be a new Child's Play movie, and he kind of hinted that it was going to be in 2025. Now, this is an actor that has been in the TV show and would be continuing on possibly in a role in this upcoming movie if it does take place involving the characters that we have grown to love. Now, with the series of characters getting their own movie, it would make sense that he would know what the timeline is of this movie coming out. However, still take it kind of with a little bit of a grain of salt, as if it is going to start filming rather soon, it could make a 2025 release. However, he could just be saying that it is being worked on and it will start filming in 2025, which then means we could be looking at a 2026 release date for a new Child's Play movie. This is good news for us, the viewers. However, it is still kind of a rumor. So what I thought I would do, since this is a rumor, I thought we would actually take a look at 5 horror movies that are kind of ripoffs or copies or very similar in the least to the Child's Play franchise. And we're going to start off with Dolly Dearest. Dolly Dearest is a 1991 American film starring Denise Crosby, Rip Torn, Sam Bottoms, and the film was initially supposed to be direct-to-video, but it did actually get a theatrical release. Now, that's a fun fact I didn't know. I don't particularly remember seeing this film come out in any theater I remember. In fact, I do remember seeing it on direct-to-video. The plot of the movie is that Elliot Wade obtains ownership of the Dolly Dearest factory in Mexico. Not far from the factory is a Mayan tomb, and you can only guess what happens from there. Yeah, you can imagine what happens there, but it's not a direct ripoff of Child's Play. But it does have a lot of similarities. Jessica, the little girl, gets close to the doll, spending all of her time with it, and then of course we have a lot of close-ups of the doll's feet. Now I think that this doll looks very reminiscent of a talking doll from the old Twilight Zone episode with Telly Savalas, and that's very notable, at least to me. I believe that that's what the doll was sort of inspired by, in addition to it being a direct ripoff of Chucky. And this movie was coming out about 1991, and that is around the time that Child's Play 3 was coming out. So now you have this movie that is obviously paying sort of this tribute, or maybe even directly ripping off the Child's Play franchise in a roundabout way, and it's coming out the same year as a sequel to the movie that it sort of seems to be inspired by. So, I mean, the movie is okay. You could do a lot worse than this movie. You really could. But the whole thing with Jessica getting close to the doll and then spending all of her time with it is very reminiscent of the whole Child's Play thing with the doll being an evil spirit. It just is really close to the Child's Play franchise. You could do worse than this movie. If you like the Child's Play franchise and you like scary dolls, this might be a really good one to check out. Next up is The Fear. Now, The Fear is an odd movie because it doesn't focus on a killer doll necessarily, but it does focus on a mannequin. And this mannequin is taken in by a couple kids. Now, the film is The Fear, 1995, and It is an odd film because, like I said, it's not necessarily a killer doll, but an actual mannequin that is doing the killing. It's a wooden mannequin that they find. These kids are doing a project, a psychological experiment in school, and they decide to make this part of their experiment. They tell this mannequin all of their fears, and then, surprise, it actually turns out to be alive. And it is going after them and is making all of their fears come true. And this is sort of more supernatural than Chucky, but you can't really say that because Chucky was literally a doll who was possessed by a killer. So can you really get more supernatural than that? I don't think so. And this one just kind of has them going around making all of their fears come true. And of course, he has a really cool name because you have to have that name that sort of lends itself to a franchise. And in this case, the mannequin's name was Morty. Now, it's notable because there was a sequel called The Fear Halloween Night, aka The Fear Resurrection, that came out in 1999. Or it was also called Scared to Death, apparently. And this movie is going to be at our number 3 spot. And the reason being that, like its predecessor, it is very much inspired by Child's Play. And this movie is kind of notable for our hero, Mike, bringing his friends to his grandparents' house for a Halloween party wherein they all dress up as their innermost fears. Mike's fear is that he has inherited a homicidal maniac sort of vibe from his father and will go on a rampage. Of course, there is also the wooden doll floating around that is Morty. And the thing of this is that this may not be the same doll. It's kind of, I don't know. But it seems like it is, and it seems like this is supposed to be a direct sequel in some way. But it is really weird. This one is a little bit more like Child's Play than the previous one. This is the only movie on this list that actually got a sequel that we're going to talk about. And coming in at our number 4 spot is Demon Dolls from 1993. And this one is kind of an odd one. An animated doll possessed by an evil spirit can actually imitate anyone it comes in contact with. Now, this movie's kind of weird in that it has a little bit of fun with things. This doll can imitate anybody, so it's not a direct reference, but it does actually start off with people bringing a doll to life very much in a Child's Play-like way. So that's why this movie is on the list, because it really does come across that way, even though they kind of do take a break and have the doll imitate other people, and etc., etc. This is still at the heart inspired by Child's Play without a shadow of a doubt, and it knows it. Next up at number 5 is my favorite film on this list. I kind of, for some reason, I really like this film, and I can't really explain why. But it is called Pinocchio's Revenge, and it is from 1996. Now, the premise of this film is a little bit cheesy if you really stop and think about it, because it is a psychological thriller that is a Child's Play ripoff. But it kind of takes a different approach. Again, it's a single parent. It's lawyer Jennifer Garrick, played by Rosalind Allen. And she's defending a convicted child murderer, Vincent Gatto. Now, she actually believes that he is innocent and is actually hiding the true killer's identity. So, lo and behold, he has a wooden doll, which she then takes to her house. As you do when you're a lawyer, you just take evidence that's some twisted, ugly looking doll to your children. That's what you do. But what ends up happening is that it is this wooden doll puppet resembling Pinocchio that he buried in his son's grave. So this killer has buried this in his son's grave, and she just is like, I'll take it home. And her daughter is Zoe, played by Brittany Elise Smith. And she thinks it's a birthday present and quickly becomes kind of infatuated with it. Now, I don't know that she honestly intended for this to be the kid's present. She kind of just takes it home and the kid sees it and the rest is history. But it really is dumb to me that she would even take it home anyway, because you don't take evidence like that home if you have a little kid that might actually like it. Although, again, I don't see how the little kid likes it to begin with. But the movie is very good from there. It actually ponders the question as to whether the Pinocchio doll is actually the killer or if it's the little girl. The doll talks to her, and it seems like the doll is only talking to her, and like maybe other people can't hear it. We start to see the doll walk around, but are we really seeing what we think we're seeing? It's very psychological thriller vibes with this movie, and it comes across that way, and it does a good job. The movie is one of those movies that I enjoy so much that it is on my streaming list. Anytime a streaming service has it, I put it in my queue, because it is a movie that I go back and watch every year during Halloween, right about the time I do my whole killer doll thing, which is a thing I do during Halloween. I have all my cliches in there. I watch some vampire movies, some werewolf movies, some ghost movies, the Jason movies, the Freddy movies, the Chucky movies, and then I go into everything else. And I watch everything I possibly can. And this movie is always included in my killer doll movies because it is one of the better ones I've seen. Now, you may not agree with me on this, but that is my opinion. I think you should check it out if you haven't seen it. Who knows? You might find it has the same charm that I feel it does. Then again, you may actually hate it. But that is where we're going to end this, because I want to hear from you. Are there any killer doll movies that you think resemble Child's Play that we didn't talk about, that you think should be on this list? And if you've seen any of these, what did you think of them? Did you like them? Did you hate them? As always, we want to know what you guys think, so make sure you are leaving us that comment in the comment box below, letting us know what you think. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends. They're going to want to be a part of this conversation as well. Then don't forget to hit that like button. It's free, it helps the channel, and we really do appreciate it. Then Miko says we need more subscribers, and look at this face. You don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell while you're down there, so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.